What is up? Welcome back to Game Brigade. My name is Brian, and today we're going to be diving into the Kickstarter and GameFound games that I am most excited for coming up this month. I haven't done one of these videos in a long time, mostly because every time I do one of these videos, I end up backing way too many games because I get excited about too much stuff. So I was like, hey, gotta push the break. But there's a lot of cool games coming out in May. I figured why not do another video like this, continue the series, and let's see. So without further ado, let's dive into the first campaign game coming out on May 2nd, which will be Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated 2 Darkest Magic. I don't know how you want to pronounce that. Clank Legacy, though, is one of the legacy games that I cannot hear people stop talking about. This and like Pandemic Season 1. Haven't played either one of them, though. And I have played Clank, though. It's a really fun deck building game where players are going to be trying to go down into the catacombs and collect some sort of treasure and then escape before the dragon catches them. And they've taken too much damage. Whenever they make clank noise, they add more potential draw baggy damage to the bag. Really enjoyed it. I played the Catacombs version, which is a recent new version, and I really enjoyed it. So Clank Legacy 2, which comes out on the 2nd, is going to be within that similar world, but using the Acquisitions Incorporated universe from Penny Arcade. So if you know about that, that might be a bonus for you. I don't necessarily think you need to know the source material to enjoy this world, though. But I'm excited to see what they have here. Now, the push and the break stuff. Why is this on Kickstarter? None of their other Clank titles have been on Kickstarter, so I'm curious as to why they're doing crowdfunding for this one when they've avoided it in the past. 2, what is the cost going to be? I'm curious. Is this going to be an expensive title? Anything on Kickstarter lately that's going to have this much components are usually over $100, plus you have the cost of shipping. So the second reason is, or the third reason is, why am I backing this now? What are you going to incentivize me to back this instead of waiting for the retail release, which is most likely always going to happen, especially when it's an IP-based title like this one. So these are the things I'm looking forward to when this campaign launches on the 2nd, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they have to offer overall because Clank was really fun, and I wouldn't mind having it in my collection. And from everything I hear on the Legacy side, it was very good. So let's see what that one has. The next one is Cities of Venus from Tin Robot Games. I actually will have a video launching on May 2nd for this one. So if you're looking for more detailed information on that, I would recommend watching this video. But Cities of Venus is a city building game where players are going to be collecting different types of resource drops from Earth that are going to modify and enhance their city as players have to deal with different types of events that are causing damage and things to go wrong on their facility, and then eventually trying to collect the most points and V-Naughts to win. Again, check out my video for a full review on this one, which will be launching on the 2nd when the campaign launches. The next one is the Hunters AD 1492. Now, the Hunters comes from the line of the Hunter series. The first one was like 21 something, 21 like XX, I don't know. And it was a futuristic post-apocalyptic game. Very similar campaign style game as this one. I skipped on that one originally, but I always wondered if I made a mistake because I enjoyed that world. I really enjoy kind of futuristic but not too far in the futuristic post-apocalyptic stuff. Love it. Like Fallout is one of my favorite franchises for video game IP for that reason. The Hunters, though, is going to take us back into the Renaissance 1482, but still keeping us in that post-apocalyptic world. Now, when I dived into this and I took a look at a lot of information, there is a lot of information on Board Game Geek. If you're looking for some videos, I recommend checking them out. But what I gathered from looking at this is it very much kind of reminds me of Tainted Grail in terms of the overall world exploration, but has a very similar or different type of combat system that you might kind of differentiate that from Tainted Grail. So if Tainted Grail was interesting to you in terms of the narrative world building storylines that is available there, but the combat was kind of dry or not your style, maybe the Hunters is going to be more akin to you. This is a card playing system. We're going to be play cards to buff your available actions, and you're going to be moving along with your miniature in a battle board against whatever monster or creature you're fighting along at that time. So, and then it utilizes skill checks and things. You know, you roll, it must 3 up to get hits or whatever, stuff like that. So it looks better. It's kind of still kind of a generic campaign game, and I'm curious as to what is going to be an incentive reason to back this versus of all the other campaign games that I have. This is always going to be the question when it comes to a story campaign game nowadays: is what are you providing that's going to be new and exciting and an incentive for me to back? So I'm curious to see what the Hunters is offering as it comes up. Now, as a reminder, this is a GameFound title, so if you're following it early, you can follow it and get free items. This one is offering a map, which is €5 otherwise. The next one is Skytear Horde Monoliths. This is the second expansion. It's a standalone expansion to Skytear Horde, which a lot of people have talked about as a Hearthstone light game. I would highly disagree with the Hearthstone Light or Hearthstone experience. I will say, you know, it has got some similar mechanics when you place your stuff out. It kind of looks like Hearthstone, and the art system kind of has that similar feel. But overall, the gameplay looks kind of interesting. This is a 1 to 3 player cooperative experience where you're going to be playing against an AI-driven system, which is going to be placing these different monsters in front of you for you to defeat as you try to eventually defeat the boss of this arena. But there's some really interesting mechanics here for a card-based system that I think is interesting. First off, you skip your draw step. You don't have a draw step in this game, so the way you draw cards is actually defeating monsters. So that means utilizing your available creatures and resources to defeat monsters to gather new things. That's going to be a really interesting play and pull and take there. The next thing is you have these minions up here at the top of the screen. There are 4 colors of the minions, at least in terms of the original game. And these minions, if you don't deal with them, are going to mill your deck. They're going to make you discard cards from the top of your deck. And if you ever run out of cards in your deck, you're going to effectively lose the game. So you have to also play this game of with the minions, defeating them, pulling them into the arena battle with you, so you can keep their damage down and prevent them from milling you. So there's a lot of cool things going on with this game. Overall, you're going to be adding more decks, more Horde and Alliance decks for you to play with. The Horde are the bosses, the enemy bosses you're fighting against. You're going to have more combinations there, as well as 8 Alliance decks. They're going to be adding more kind of themes and stuff for you to play with. I'm excited for that, and I like that it is a cooperative game. I can play this with my friends. That is the biggest question, is when will this game get played? We don't play too many cooperative games in my game group. We always like playing competitive games, but stuff like this is exciting, and it's easy to take with me to trips and whatnot if I want to play with my wife. So I'm looking forward to this one very, very much so. There is also a follow on this one. It's a free Full Art Castle promo cards. If you are looking for that, just follow, or it's €4 to purchase them otherwise, which is, you know, take it as you will. So this is also launching May 2nd. This one is, of the ones we've seen so far, it's hard to say, but this one's probably going to get it back out of me no matter what, because I'm really, really looking forward to this one. Launching on the 16th now is Disrupt by Triple Meeple. This is going to be another Euro, but it's going to be an asymmetrical economic Euro, taking place in the Silicon Valley with startups as you try to gather different types of resources for your idea that you're trying to present and build up. I have a prototype being sent to me right now. Hopefully it gets here prior to the launch of this on the 16th. I don't have it in hand, so I'll have a better understanding and a first impressions review for this once that is available. But I'm curious to see what this is. I don't have too many economic Euros in my collection right now, so I want to see what Disrupt is trying to provide here and what they're going to be bringing to the table coming on May 16th. The next one is Detective City of Angels. This is actually going to be an expansion for this title, going to be called Saints and Sinners. It's going to include a standalone pack that was previously already released, plus additional new content. Detective City of Angels is a title from 2019, and I love it. This is from Van Ryder Games. I played this with Jesse over at Quackalope. In fact, we have at least 3 gameplays recorded of this game. So hopefully Jesse posts these during this campaign. I would love it if he did, because those games were a lot of fun. But the way this game works is you're going to have one player playing the chisel. We'll talk about what that player does. Everyone else is going to be playing a detective trying to solve a murder case. So what does that mean? You're going to be given a scenario, something happened, and then you're going to be given some different people that you can ask questions to and potential locations that they're at. And so you're going to be moving around this board of central LA here, going to different locations, very akin to games like Sherlock Holmes, right? You're going to go to different locations to interview people. And at these locations, you can find clues or people. And then what happens? Let's say you find a person you want to interview. Well, that's where the chisel now comes into play. The player who's playing against everyone. Their job is to really build an interesting narrative story for the players by taking on the role of playing all the suspects getting interviewed. So the way the interview process works is, let's say I run into Muggsy Barnes and I want to ask Muggsy Barnes about the murder that happened on the street. So we go to him, I ask him the question. The chisel will then take a look at their chart on their book behind the board and say, okay, these are the available answers that I can give him. So you then choose if you want to tell him the truth or lie or do something in that manner. And then the detective will have to take your answer. And if they think you're telling the truth, great. They're going to remember that for the future. You gave them some information. But if they think you're lying, they can kind of mug you up a little bit, kind of rough hand you a little bit and force you to tell them the truth if they were correct that you were lying. In that case, you take the card, you flip it to the truth, you give them the truth, and then they can continue forward, going on with the game with the new information. But if you were telling them the truth and they mug you up a little bit, then you're actually going to get some stuff from them to kind of get a enhancement that you can use against them for future gameplay later in that game. So it's really, really interesting, kind of interesting pull and take. And you're always trying to throw off the player. Really, really enjoyed it. A game that does not get enough conversations and talking around it. So excited to see this one coming back to Kickstarter and kind of what they're offering in their campaign in general. So this should be launching on May 16th. Also launching May 16th is the Aeon's Trespass Odyssey second printing. Now, I have my copy. It is sitting gloriously perched upon my shelf, still in its wrap. I haven't even opened it up. And the reality is the game is just so freaking heavy and meaty to get into right now that I've got other games and other campaign games I'm getting to. So this will be coming down the line. I will play this at some point in the future. So what is this game? Well, you are going to be taking on the role of, I think, these Argonauts, and you are going to be basically getting into a robot to fight on these demons or things that are attacking the planet. Very much reminded me of Evangelion, Neon Genesis Evangelion, or Pacific Rim as well. Very akin to that. And this is a 1 to 4 player game, but you have to play all 4 Argonauts in this game. So if you're playing a 3-player game, someone's going to have to two-hand assist them. So be aware of that before you go into this. It is also very heavily weighted in terms of the complexity. So this is not going to be for everyone. And especially a majority of gamers, this type of weighted of a game is really kind of a put-off. So if this is something you're interested in, I highly recommend coming down here, checking out some of the gameplay components here, seeing what's available, because there's a lot of content out there for you to understand now if this is going to be a game for you versus other Boss Battlers games that are available. I love the way this game looked, the overall system, and the way it was going to be kind of a centerpiece of my collection. But because I haven't played it, I can't give you guys a real opinion of what to think about this game. So that's that one. The next one is Evolution: Another World by Crowdfunding Games. This one, I actually have a prototype of it, and I've played it, and I've really enjoyed the 2-player dueling game that I've played. It is 1 to 4, so I'm hoping to play 3 to 4 player games here shortly, so I can get my review filmed and posted prior to this campaign launching. Evolution is a system that's very well known. A lot of people played Evolution, but in this game, you're going to be playing creatures, and then you're going to be putting traits on them as they evolve. And these traits are going to be usually defensive tactics that prevent you from getting attacked and harmed, or you can make them a predator to attack your opponents to prevent them from scoring points. What this one is interesting, though, unlike other Evolution, is the take that mechanic of the predator attacking a prey is less detrimental like other Evolution games. It doesn't have that feel bad mechanic when it comes to the take that mechanic. So I really do appreciate that. It is also very great for that family weight game. I think this will be a really good game for family gamers who are looking for a fun Evolution system with great colorful art, but aren't looking for that game that's going to be too harmful or in terms of take thatty for your younger audiences. So that is Evolution Another World. Launching on May 18th, kind of an odd date to launch, is Monster Hunter World Iceborne, the board game. Now, I skipped the original Monster Hunter World. This is basically taking Monster Hunter World and going from the tropics to the Arctic. And my question on this one is this a straight veneer change? Is this just going to keep the Monster Hunter World mechanics the same, but just changing the dragons and monsters to icy dragon monsters? Or are they going to be really presenting a kind of a new, fresh take on the Monster Hunter World board game and giving us something that's going to be completely unique comparatively to the original game? I highly doubt it, but I'm curious of what is going to be their incentive to have people back this, especially if they're owners of the original game. Now, the reason I didn't back this the first time is I already have so many boss battles in my collection. It didn't seem like it was going to be good enough to beat out those titles. So now here you have your second chance, your 2.0. Are you going to be able to get there? Are you going to prove to me that this is the one that I should be backing? I'm curious what they're going to be offering. This is from Steamforge Games, launching on the 18th. Now, this one I don't have an actual release date, so we're going to be putting at the end. I don't know when Apex Legends, the board game, will be launching, but Apex Legends is another IP-based game. A lot of IP-based games coming out lately, I know. Now, that's not for everyone. Some people love IP-based games. Some people hate them. Personally, I don't mind as long as the game emulates and gives me the feel of the game or whatever the IP is into the board game. If I feel like I'm experiencing that world, then I'm totally fine with it, because there's a lot of times I can't play this game with family members or other people that I want to experience that way that game feels when I play it with other people. Apex Legends is a first-person shooter PC game where players are, it's a massive arena, battle arena, where basically it's a kind of like a Hunger Games, where it's going to be one remaining survivor as the world kind of shrinks and forces players to the center. So how does this gameplay work? Is it going to be exciting enough to back it? The hard thing going for this one in my collection is I backed Rainbow Six Siege, and that one's already going to kind of be my team-based miniatures skirmish game. So how does Apex Legends compare? I don't know. There's not a lot of information in terms of its overall gameplay, but I'm excited to see what it's going to bring at the end of the day. So that's it. That's the rough of it in terms of the games that we're looking at in May. A lot of really cool titles, a lot of stuff I'm looking forward to. Don't have the money to back it all. I can't get everything. So it's going to have to be really the people that present to me the best reason to back this game now versus potentially waiting for a retail release or secondary market if that's another way I want to go. So I'm excited to see what overall this scene is going to look like come May 18th officially, once all the titles are released. Is there anything that you're looking forward to, at least on this list, or something that I skipped? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what people are looking at that is going to be available, and let me know what you're backing or skipping this month. This is Brian from Game Brigade. Thank you for watching. I will talk to you very soon.